Hi everybody, in this video I want to talk with you about some new and very exciting updates to Google Meet that we think makes this now the tool to beat for distance learning video conferencing. And I'll explain why. The first thing is security is in Meet better and more reliable than any of the other tools that are out there. And the reason for that is students can't get into a Meet session without using their Redlands Google account, their @redlandsschools.net account. So already you automatically know exactly who's attending your session, which is really nice. And the other great thing is those accounts are tied to students' actual first and last names. So there is no name spoofing possible in Google Meet, which we know has been a problem and a challenge in tools like Zoom before. So Meet has always given you that security feature. One of the things though that has been a drag about Meet is that teachers don't have a waiting room. So that means anybody in the district, if they know your Meet nickname or your lookup code, then they can come straight into your Meet session, even if they're not in your class. Well, Google Meet has improved upon this, and we think now is the most secure way to be able to host a distance learning video conferencing session with students. So that is all brought about by something new. It's right down here in the bottom left-hand corner. It's this blue host control shield. So let's talk about what being a host means first. Only one person in a Meet gets the host controls. That's whoever's serving as the host. And you will know if you have it because you'll be the one that has the blue shield down here. This is only granted to one user, and it's granted to whoever launches the Meet session. So whoever's the first one to kick it off, which is almost always the teacher, is going to have this. If you do have like a paraprofessional or a co-teacher or something like that, and they launch it first, they might get this shield. So if you're a teacher and you're expecting to see that, maybe work that out with some of the other adults that are attending your session. But once you have this shield, then you can click it, and you'll notice you have several new host features that are built into Google Meet. The first one I want to talk about is this one up here called Quick Access. Now, by default, Quick Access is on, and it has always been on since we've been using Meet. What that means is anybody that has a redlandsschools.net account and knows your nickname or knows your lookup code, they can get into your Meet session quickly. They get quick access to it without any additional permissions necessary. So if you instead want to be able to approve people one by one and make sure that nobody gets into your session without approval so that only your students gain permission, what we recommend is after you launch your session, come on in here quickly and turn off quick access. After this is disabled, no other students will be able to get in without you admitting them one by one. And you get a little prompt on your screen that says so-and-so wants to join. And since all those requests are tied to actual usernames and real first and last names, you'll know exactly who's trying to get into your session. So let's take a look at what this says. It says, when turned off, everyone who isn't invited must ask to join, including people in your organization. And we're not using the invitation feature. We're not scheduling Meet sessions through calendar. So this basically means anybody that wants to get to our nickname session or our lookup link session from the banner in Google Classroom, we're going to be approving that on a one-by-one basis. So that's a really, really nice feature and a really nice tool. Now, I want to show you one other security vulnerability that is also fixed with this. If you haven't noticed it before, in Google Meet, in the upper right-hand corner, if you click the Show Everyone portion, this shows you everybody that's in your Meet session. So I'm the only one here, but normally you'd see all of your students in this list, which is great. And this is where you can go mute students and remove them if they're being obnoxious, that kind of stuff. One thing, though, that Google Meet has had for a while now is this Add People button. And this is really nice if I'm having a corporate meeting and I want to invite Bob from accounting to come on into the session. It's really bad because for distance learning, though, because students have access to this. And when students click that Add People button, you'll see that there are two things here. They can invite people by email address, which might be a redlandsschools.net account. Maybe they want to invite their friend that's not in the class to come join your session. They have the ability to do that. They have for a while now. But they can also type in personal email addresses here. So they can invite like a personal version of themselves with a personal Gmail, and it'll send them an invitation to come on in and join the session. And up until now, anybody that got one of these email invites, they didn't have to get approved. They just came right on into your session if they were in network, and if they were out of network, then you were prompted to approve them to come on in. The other drag has been this call feature that basically allows you to use Meet to call any phone number in the world and invite that person's phone into the meeting, which some students had figured out they could come in here and use this to prank call people, type in any phone number, and all of a sudden that person would get a phone call to come join your Meet session, and then chaos ensues. So here's the really nice feature. If you go over here to host controls and you turn off quick access, this does two things. The first thing it does is if a student goes over here to add people and they try to invite an email address and they invite one of their friend can no longer gain access without you approving them. So it allows you to be a gatekeeper and prevent anybody with an email address from just coming right on in without approval, in network and also out of domain. So personal accounts as well as Redlands Google accounts. The other more crucial thing is this whole call feature is disabled for everyone except for the meeting host. So I now, as the host, am the only one that can use the call feature to call a phone and invite that phone number into this session. Students don't have that ability at all. They cannot call in with phone anymore. So if you've been having that issue in terms of security, this is fixed by coming over here to the Shield and disabling quick access. So this is not a persistent setting. It's nothing you have to set up in ahead of time. Just when you get into a meet, the first thing you want to do is disable that. Or one thing you might want to do is maybe leave this on for the first 3 minutes while your students are joining, right at session starts at 9:15. Let them come on in at 9:15 so you don't have to approve one by one. And then maybe at 9:17, turn this thing off, and then nobody else can get in without you giving permission one by one. So give that a shot. We think that's going to be a huge game changer for teachers. All right, in terms of these host controls, here are a couple of the other things that are available for you. You also now have the ability to turn on and off screen sharing for meeting participants, as well as turn on and off chat for other meeting participants. So if I don't want my students to be able to chat with each other, I can now disable this. Chat is still possible, I believe, for me, where I can send a message out, but this removes the ability for everybody else to participate in the chat. So I have this little toggle over here in chat, and I can turn that on or off, and I can also turn it on or off over here. So nice new feature. The other thing is this doesn't have to be all or nothing. You could have this off for the first 15 minutes of your meet session, then turn it on for 5 minutes to do a little bit of chatting, and then turn it off again. Or leave it on, and if your students are getting off task, you can disable that thing, and you can talk about class norms and digital citizenship and all those other things that we want to instill in our students. Same thing with screen sharing. I, as a teacher, I have that Present Now button, and that's awesome for instruction, but my students have always had that too, which means they can share stuff on their screen. And this is great for collaboration. It's great for giving students voice in your class. It's great for giving them a chance to show what they know, but you don't want that on all the time. So now you have the ability to turn this off. I now have the ability still as a teacher to share my screen to students. And if I don't want them sharing for a while, I turn that off. And then if I need Bobby to show everybody how to do something in class, I can turn this back on and invite Bobby to go ahead and share his screen. So those things are all available very quickly right over here. The other thing I wanted to mention is that if you go over here to view all host settings and click that, that pulls up this new little host setting window, this new settings window, and this is going to give you all the ins and outs on quick access and on screen and screen sharing and chat messages. So if you're new to these things, read this so that you can see all the details. The other thing I want to mention is if you go over here to audio, there is a new feature in Meet that allows you to turn on noise cancellation. So if you're teaching from home in kind of a noisy environment and there's some background noise and you'd like that filtered out, Meet will now do that for you as well. All of these features that we just talked about are also available by going down here to the Jelly Bean menu in the bottom right-hand corner, clicking that, and going over here to Settings. And that's where you can adjust any of your audio settings, any of your video settings, and any of your host controls as well. So those are all great pieces. Now, the part that you're probably most excited about beyond security is, remember when we had that problem where we couldn't see all of our screen or all of our students on camera and on our screen at once, and we were trying to fix this by using Chrome extensions like Google Meet Grid View and stuff like that? You don't need it anymore. It's baked into Meet now. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go remove any of those Chrome extensions. So if you have those installed, take a look up here. You're going to go to this little puzzle piece in your toolbar up at the top, and then you're going to go down and find any of those Google Meet Chrome, Google Meet Grid View Chrome extensions, and you're going to click the little Jelly Bean button, and you're going to remove those from Chrome. Why? Because they can kind of interfere with Chrome now that we have this built in. So how do I see all of my students at once? If you go to the Jelly Bean menu and you go over here to change layout, you'll notice that Google Meet comes with 4 different layouts: auto, tiled, spotlight, and sidebar. And you can pick any one of these you want. You can change it throughout the meeting. Your students can also do the same thing. If you decide you want to see tiled, the default over here is 16 student videos on screen at once. And if you go, nope, I need to see all of my students, you'll notice you can grab the slider now and this will go all the way up to 49 participants on screen at once. So if you want to have a giant Brady Bunch view of everybody all at once, you can now go up to 49, and it's built right into Meet. You don't need any extensions to be able to do that anymore. So remove those old extensions, switch over to this default view instead, and I think you will really love what you've got there. All right, 2 other things to share with you. The next is, again, down here in the Jelly Bean button. If you click more options over here, you'll notice one of the new features that's rolling out is this ability to turn on blur background. You have this as well as your students, and this is another nice privacy piece for all of us. If I have things in the background that I don't want anybody to see, I can turn this on. I can also just enable this to prevent distractions from happening during your sessions. So this would be a good one to teach your students about as well. One of the nice things about Meet that I want to mention is Meet is all browser-based, which means it's not dependent upon the computer that anybody's using. Anything built into Meet works on every device, Mac, Windows PC, as well as a Chromebook. So all these things I just showed you are all things students will have as well. This blur background and the tile up to 49 grid view, they all have that. You just need to teach them how to use these things. So if you want your students to all have blurred backgrounds now, you can ask them to go to the Jelly Bean and turn on or off blur background to kind of improve the quality of your sessions and your meetings a little bit. Now, one thing I want to mention is I have most of these features, but there's one I don't have yet. These features are all rolling out right now, so if you don't have all of them, they will be coming here in the coming days and weeks. You're going to have all of this stuff. I have blur background, but one of my colleagues doesn't. She, though, has a feature that I don't have yet. And one of the features that's going to be coming here is Whiteboard integration into Google Meet. Google Meet previously did not have a whiteboard built into it. If you're familiar with Zoom, Zoom had a whiteboard built into it, but only for Windows and Mac computers, not for Chromebooks. We think Meet has made a massive improvement here. So as soon as you get this feature, here's what it's going to look like. In your Jelly Bean button, you will have a new option over here that says Whiteboard, open a jam. And when you click that, Meet will automatically prompt you to either open up a jam that you've already created in Jamboard or a fresh new one if you want a new one for that session right now. So once you create that, if you're not familiar with Jamboard, it's really simple, and we've got some videos on our YouTube channel about that and also on our Tech Coach website, which, by the way, is bit.ly/RUSD Tech. Check that out. But we'll give you an overview there of what Jamboard looks like. And once you open up a jam, it gives you basically this whiteboard that you can then present to your students using Present Now, and now you can share with them what that jam is. So you can use this to demonstrate something on a whiteboard for students live during class. It's built into Meet now using Jamboard's technology. Really nice. The other great thing is you get a shareable link to this jam. So if you want to collaborate with students, if you want to put them on this and you want everybody brainstorming together and adding some ideas to this, or if you want to create a jam that's got, 30 pages, one for each student, and you want to assign each one of them a number, you can share that link right in the chat in your Google Meet session, and students can click that link and then they can all collaborate on the same Jamboard. So this is definitely a game changer for us in terms of some of our instructional strategies, in terms of ease of use and the way that we're going to be able to incorporate things other than just me, lecturing at my students and talking at them. We'll really be able to do some great collaborative learning using that new integrated whiteboard feature. But wait, there's more. We want to give you a heads up about 2 additional features that we think is going to put this over the top. In the month of October, you're going to find that Google Meet is going to add 2 new features. One is going to be attendance reports. It will do automatic attendance for you for each session. And my understanding is that it's going to automatically send you an email that will give you like a spreadsheet of exactly who attended your session, and I think even timestamps or duration for how long they were there. So nothing you'll even have to do. I think that's going to happen automatically, and that they've said that that's coming sometime in October. And then the biggie for all of us using Meet is breakout rooms are coming to Google Meet in October. And so we will finally have that feature. We think once those features are here, Google Meet is going to be the tool to use for distance learning. It's going to have all the bells and whistles that Zoom has without any software that has to be downloaded and updated, without any variants where, this works on Windows, but it doesn't work on a Chromebook. And we think it's going to have top-notch security features that Zoom and some of the other tools out there just don't have, since it's tied to all of our students' Google accounts That's going to give us much more security for our meeting sessions. So when those new features come out, we will make another video and share all of those details with you, and make sure that you're up to speed on everything. But we want you to stay tuned and keep looking for these updates. Like I said, all these ones that we just went over today are in the process of rolling out now. You probably already have most of them. If there's one or two you don't have yet, hang on, it's coming soon. And we think Meet really is going to be an awesome tool for you. So we hope you start playing around with this and experimenting with some of these ideas quickly. All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate you spending some time with us.